Goodleton Stadium, Sheffield, where world champion Bruce Pennell hopes to repair his tarnished image and successfully defend the Yorkshire television trophy he won for the first time last year. American glamour boy Pennell was booed after a world championship meeting in London 2 weeks ago when he made no attempt to win his last race, helping 3 fellow Americans to pick up vital points. Well, Pennell since apologised for his behaviour, and another victory here tonight certainly won't do his reputation any harm. After 8 years at Hull's Boulevard Stadium, this prestigious event moves to Sheffield for the first time. And it's a track familiar to those of you who've watched the Northern Riders final on Yorkshire television in recent years. And the current holder of the Northern title is England's #1 Kenny Carter from Halifax Dukes, who must start as one of the favourites to topple Pennell tonight. Sheffield's Sean Moran is another huge favourite, particularly with this Owlerton crowd, and he's chasing Carter's Golden Helmet match race title, so they'll be looking at each other tonight to see about their current form. And equally spectacular are Sean's elder brother Kelly and Bellevue's Chris Morton and Denmark's Eric Gunderson. It's an interesting lineup, a blend of world-class stars, local favourites with a sound knowledge of the Sheffield track, and 1 or 2 virtual unknowns hoping to make a bit of an impact. We've had some rain here tonight, and that threatened the meeting for a short time, but referee Jack Whittaker's had no hesitation in declaring the track fit for racing, and let's see how it goes. And here they come then for Heat 1 on the outside slot. It's one of the long-time local favourites, Reg Wilson from the Sheffield Tigers. Next to him, the first chance to see the world champion, Bruce Pennell. And as we move towards the inside, Wayne Brown from Sheffield. And on the very inside, 18-year-old Rob Foy, who's coming to this meeting at the last moment in place of Michael Lee. And what a test for this 18-year-old from Perth. But it's not a very satisfactory start at all. Certainly a very bad one for Reg Wilson, who was virtually left there. Bruce Pennell works his way around into first place, but being challenged by Wayne Brown. They come round now towards the finish of the first lap. It's Bruce Pennell, the world champion, the holder of the Yorkshire television trophy, out in front. And the challenge coming from young Wayne Brown, 22-year-old New Zealander, who signed for Sheffield from Berwick at the start of this season and trying to make a name for himself in the British League. In third place, after that very bad start, and right at the back, young Rob Foy. But it's Bruce Pennell, with a lap and a half to go, who's very comfortably got this race in control. And unless there's any machine failures, then he'll be picking up 3 points and setting off in pursuit of defending this title very successfully. Down the back straight for the last time goes Pennell, number 3. Comes round the pitch bend now, coming up with a very long lead indeed to take the checkered flag. The winner in white, number 3, Bruce Pennell. Second, Wayne Brown, number 2. And third, in yellow and black, was number 4, Reg Wilson from Sheffield. And you're looking at now the rider who could possibly win this meeting if Bruce Pennell doesn't, and that's Kenny Carter from Halifax Dukes, the 21-year-old England number 1. Undoubtedly our best chance of a world championship winner this season. Kenny Carter from Halifax coming up to join him very shortly from the pitch gate. He's the one rider who's keeping us waiting. At the back there is Larry Ross from Bellevue, already at the start line with Carter. Phil Crump from Australia at Swindon, and on the extreme right, Eric Gunderson from Cradley Heath and Denmark. Some real quality performers in this Heat 4, so perhaps we'll get a more exciting race than we've seen so far. But it's 3 points that they're all looking for, and let's see what Carter does from the outside. He goes right round that corner there, going past Crump and Gunderson into first place, down the back straight. Kenny Carter in second spot at the moment, Phil Crump, and in third, Eric Gunderson. Kenny Carter really been in some tremendous form just lately. Yet, surprisingly, perhaps the last time that he was here at Sheffield, he was beaten in the Golden Helmet second leg by the local favourite Sean Moran. And they'll be clashing later on in this meeting. But it's Kenny Carter now opening up a big lead in front of number 14, Phil Crump. And in third spot at the moment, Eric Gunderson, who's just knocked Carter off the top of the British League averages this week. Gunderson, a very good rider indeed, and one of Denmark's top men. Kenny Carter with a lap to go, number 13, certainly hoping that's going to be lucky for him. He goes round the back straight for the last time in his first ride. And he's, like Pennell before him and 1 or 2 others, has opened up such a big lead. There's no trouble at all. Kenny Carter takes the checkered flag. In second place, it's Phil Crump, number 14, and in third, Eric Gunderson, number 15. So your 4 race winners after 4 races. We've had Bruce Pennell, Sean Moran rather. We've had Bruce Pennell, Sean Moran, Doug Wyer and Kenny Carter, all with a victory first time out. And your riders then in Heat 5, from left to right, Kelly Moran. That's Kelly Moran, the elder of the 2 brothers. He rides for Eastbourne now, used to be with the Hull Vikings. Next to him, in the white, Phil White from Sheffield. White in the white. And then it's Rob Foy, this youngster who's come in place of Michael Lee tonight at the last minute. Michael Lee has failed to put in an appearance, the former world champion. And on the extreme right is Kenny Carter, who won his last ride. This is 2 rides on the top for Carter, and I can't really see him being pressed in this one if he rides anything like the form. He had the outside gate in his first race. This time he got the inside. He should get away to a clean start. He does, but there's a bit of a challenge there by the rider in white, Phil White, who almost caught a back wheel and went into the fence, but got away with it. But having done that, lost second place, and Kelly Moran moved up, and now he's the one who's challenging Carter. On lap 2 now, Carter, a man who consistently makes the trap, and that's really what makes world champions. That's what made Ivan Major, the Fundins, the Peter Cravens riders, who can always do it from the back. But it is all about making starts, particularly on nights when there's been some rain and the track's perhaps cutting up a little bit. Well, Carter's leathers, you'll see, are pretty clean because he's had 2 rides from the front, and there's no problem about being filled in for him. 1 lap to go now. Kelly Moran back in second place. In third spot, Phil White, and a long way behind is young Rob Foy. Must be a good half lap behind Carter, but then you can't really expect an awful lot from a youngster in this class of field. Kenny Carter comes round for his second win of the night. Second is Kelly Moran, number 9, and in third spot, Sheffield's Phil White, number 5. 8-7 then, and a chance of a really tight one here because we've got 2 riders who've been out first time with wins. From the outside then it's Bruce Penhall, the holder of the YTV trophy. 3 points and a very comfortable winner first time. Next to him, Sean Moran, who also won his first race. And of course, he's the local favourite. Then Eric Gunderson, who could be a spoiler in this one, from Cradley in Denmark. And then David Barge on the inside. He's really up against something here. This could be a very interesting first corner. And it's Sean Moran who gets away first. And Bruce Penhall back in third place is now forcing his way past Eric Gunderson, his Cradley teammate, up into second spot. But he's got a little bit of work to do now if he's going to catch Sean Moran. Could we be possibly seeing Bruce Penhall's first defeat of the night? Sean Moran, the track record holder here at Doulaton, the 64 seconds a fortnight ago when he beat Kenny Carter in the Golden Helmet match race. Has a quick look round there and sees Penhall about 10 or 15 yards behind him. Penhall bucking a little bit there on that corner. No race at all for third place. Back there is Eric Gunderson. He's dropped right out of it. But Penhall now has just got just over a lap now to make an impression. Having a go on the outside now. Sean Moran will know where he is. Penhall going down the back straight now. Sean Moran holds a good line, comes into the pits turn. It's Penhall on the outside. Can he get round Sean Moran? Sean Moran's hanging on there and just beats him. Sean Moran rode a very good race indeed there. Penhall made a good challenge. But Sean Moran made it by about 4 or 5 yards at the end. Shakes hands with Penhall. And back in third place there was Eric Gunderson. So the tightest race certainly that we've had so far. A very good scrap between Penhall and Sean Moran. This is where Penhall really starts on this last lap to make his challenge. He's done it so many times before. We saw it at Wembley in the World Final last year. Comes on the outside, being filled in by the dirt, of course, by a wet track. And now on this last corner makes a challenge, which Sean Moran has just got enough power, enough drive coming out of this bend to hold off Penhall. A very good finish, but first place to Moran and a very important win for him. Well, we've got 4 riders here in Heat 8 who are all hoping to repair their reputations a little bit after a disappointing start. From the outside, we've got Larry Ross from Bellevue. Coming up to join him shortly in the white helmet will be Dave Morton from Sheffield, and then Steve Baker from Halifax, and Reg Wilson from Sheffield. Two of them had third place first time out, Reg Wilson and Dave Morton. Larry Ross was certainly very disappointing. Let's see what happens as they start on heat 8. And it's Larry Ross diving across there from the outside, but didn't quite make the turn. Now he does. He gets past Reg Wilson, who looked as though he'd made that first corner quite nicely, and then got a little bit of trouble trying to get his wheels in line. And it's Larry Ross who's come through into first place, Reg Wilson second, and a fair old tussle going on for third place too between Steve Baker and Dave Morton. But it's Larry Ross. He negotiated that first turn and taken advantage of a bit of a mistake by Reg Wilson, who's now got about a 10 to 15 yard lead going down the back straight from Wilson, who in turn is comfortably ahead of Steve Baker. Larry Ross, the New Zealander who joined Bellevue last year for £18,000 after being so prominent with Wimbledon Dons, and he's still in the World Championship this year and hoping to make it to the final in Los Angeles, and he's a comfortable winner. Number 16, Larry Ross. In second place, Reg Wilson, and in third spot was Steve Baker. Well, the situation after Heat 8, with all riders having had two rides, is that we've got three leaders. We've got Sean Moran, Kenny Carter and Doug Wyer, all with 6 points, and the holder, Bruce Penhall, just 1 point adrift with 5. On to Heat 11, and your riders from the outside, Phil Crump, just backing away from the start line just for the moment. Behind him, just adjusting his visor, quite important in these sticky conditions, although the track's drying out nicely now, Bruce Penhall. Dropped a point in his last ride, so he'll be pretty anxious to make amends for that. Then next to him is Kelly Moran, and on the right, the inside start this time, Steve Baker from the Halifax Dukes. Penhall with 5 points, just one behind the three leaders, Wyer, Moran and Carter. Sean Moran. So let's see if Penhall can pick up 3 points here. He's looking there on the outside as he makes the start. Looking at his outside man, Phil Crump. It's Penhall who comes round into the lead, with Crump trying to get alongside him and not quite making the drive out of that turn. And Kelly Moran on the inside, wearing number 9. Crump is in second place, number 14. Certainly the glamour boy of World Speedway when he won the world title at Wembley last year in front of a 92,000 crowd at Wembley. Mr. Spectacular wants to be a film star when he finishes in Speedway, and he's already been taking studio tests over in California. But he's blotted his copybook a little bit with the English fans, as I mentioned earlier, by the performance at White City when he deliberately allowed some American riders pick up points in the World Championship, and that certainly didn't go down well with an English crowd. But Penhall here, who won this YTV meeting last year with a 15-point maximum, is coming round the last turn now to pick up 3 more points. In second place, Phil Crump gets the verdict for second place ahead of number 9, Kelly Moran. The winner by a distance, Bruce Penhall. Well, Heat 12, the pre-interval heat, certainly looks like being a very crucial one. It certainly is for the points, but with Kenny Carter, Doug Wyer and Sean Moran on 6 points apiece, 3 unbeaten riders, and Reg Wilson in there fighting with 3. Maybe not with a chance of winning the meeting, but certainly with a chance of being a spoiler. On the outside there is Sean Moran, and he's certainly going to get the Sheffield crowd roaring tonight with his unbeaten score so far, 6. Next to him, Doug Wyer, perhaps a little bit of a surprise packet, coming back, the veteran, the ex-Tiger, scoring points now for Halifax Dukes. Doug Wyer with 6. Then next to him, Reg Wilson. On the inside, number 13, Kenny Carter, looking for his first Yorkshire television trophy. He's got the inside slot. This is a very crucial one indeed. But let's see who makes the gate. There's a little bit of punching there, a little bit of nudging between blue and white there, between Wilson and Wyer. But on the inside now, Kenny Carter comes through into first place, taking up the centre of the track. On the inside, it's Doug Wyer. And Sean Moran is at the back. And that's hardly where Sheffield's number 1 expects to be, even in a meeting of this class. Sean Moran at the back now. He's got an awful lot to do. Kenny Carter, who's certainly not put a foot wrong so far in this meeting, and in not too many meetings this season. Kenny Carter's out in front, Doug Dwyer in second place, and he's certainly fooled a few of them tonight. But he's being challenged, and now down has gone Kenny Carter. He lost it there coming out of that turn. Referee stops the race, but Kenny Carter's back on his feet. Carl Glover, the Sheffield team manager, going across to see that he's all right. And Kenny Carter then with a big lead in Heat 12, everything going for him, looking to have this race well won. On that outside there, they see the front wheel lift then as he picks up some drive. And even for a man with Kenny Carter's experience in international racing, he's losing that bike there. He lets it go and finishes up in the fence. Just picked up that little bit of extra dirt there as he was coming out of the turn. And that's going to cost Kenny Carter almost certainly this Yorkshire Television Trophy. Heat 12, and with Kenny Carter having bitten the dust there, his misfortune is going to be somebody else's good fortune, because Sean Moran, who had such a bad start in the original Heat 12, and Doug Dwyer, who was doing quite well, certainly Sean Moran is the one who could make amends in this one and still be in with a great chance of winning the YTV Trophy. So the only three riders then, with Kenny Carter having been excluded for being the cause of the stoppage, Sean Moran from the outside, then Doug Dwyer, and then Reg Wilson. Sean Moran, again, a little bit of a sticky, wobbly start there on the outside. And he only just gets past there. Doug Dwyer got so wide on that first turn that Sean Moran almost finished up in the fence. And it's Reg Wilson who's out in front. Reg Wilson with only 3 points so far, and yet he's leading the race. There's all sorts of things happening here at Ullerton. The two men who desperately need the points for a chance of winning this championship are back in second and third place behind Reg Wilson. Two of the Sheffield veterans here, Reg Wilson and Dougie Dwyer, of course, who before his move to Halifax was the popular man here, one with Reg. Doug Dwyer now trying to get on terms with Reg Wilson, and Sean Moran going all over the track to try and make up ground on Doug Dwyer. And he won't be happy with a point there, and Doug Dwyer won't be happy with two, the way he started off. But we're on the last lap now. It's still Reg Wilson in front. Reg Wilson is number 4. He's lost his helmet colour, but he's out there in front, and the challenge now coming on this last corner from the two boys at the back. Doug Dwyer in second place, but they don't get there. It's Reg Wilson who wins the second surprise of Heat 12. In second place, Doug Dwyer, and Sean Moran beaten into third place, so he just didn't take advantage of that Kenny Carter mishap. So the situation then after 12 heats is that we now have Bruce Penhall and Doug Dwyer as joint leaders with 8 points, no riders unbeaten, and in third place at the moment, Sean Moran with 7. Welcome back to Ullerton Stadium, Sheffield, for the Yorkshire Television Trophy. We move on to Heat 13. We've got two leaders at the moment, Doug Dwyer with 8 points and Bruce Penhall with 8. But it's Sean Moran on the right of your picture there. On the inside, he's got 7 points in third place as Dave Morton nudges the tapes. It's Dave Morton pushing a little bit there, and so on the outside was Rob Floyd. But Sean Moran on the inside desperately needs points here to get back into this race for the YTV Trophy. He's in second place at the moment behind Phil Crump, and in third spot it's Dave Morton. Sean Moran really not quite in the bubbling form that we expect from him at Ullerton. Dropped 2 points in the Heat 12 after having 2 chances, with Kenny Carter coming off, and then in the rerun we thought Sean Moran would do better than third place. He was third place in the YTV Trophy at Hull last year. Sean finished third when Bruce Penhall was the winner, and Dennis Segala second in an American 1-2-3. And I really thought that Sean Moran was going to be in there with scrapping for this YTV Trophy tonight. At the moment he's not quite in the form unless he can come through on the inside here. He has a quick look behind him to see Dave Morton, but it's Phil Crump from Australia and Swindon who's out in front. Sean Moran in second place, Dave Morton in third, and right at the back Rob Foy. But on the last lap now, Phil Crump safely negotiating the pitch bend, and Sean Moran has to be satisfied with second place, and in third it's Dave Morton, number 12. The winner, Phil Crump. Riders coming up to the line for Heat 14. And from left to right, they'll read David Barge. It's in there, on the outside, Sheffield. Next to him, Steve Baker from the Halifax Dukes. Then Kenny Carter from Halifax, and on the right, Wayne Brown from Sheffield. And I wonder what's going through Kenny Carter's mind. He looked as though he was in the sort of form to run away with this meeting, and then slipped up in heat 12 when he picked up some dirt coming out of the second turn and landed on his backside by the fence. So when he looked as though he was going to have 9 points, he's now got 6. Still in with a chance, because the leaders at the moment, Sean Moran and Phil Crump with 9, they've had an extra ride. So it's still fairly wide open. We'll see what Kenny Carter can make of this. A very bunched start there, and Wayne Brown, his back wheel flying out there, nearly caught Kenny Carter. It's Wayne Brown down the back straight, losing his helmet colour as Carter goes past him on the outside. Or tries to. Is he going to get round on this pit turn? Kenny Carter, yes, up into first place. Wayne Brown second. In third place at the moment, David Barge. And at the back, Steve Baker. Young Wayne Brown, this very promising New Zealander, former National League Riders champion, is certainly battling away here tonight. His debut in the YTV trophy meeting. Kenny Carter, as he goes past the spot where he picked up that dirt and came a cropper, this time he's going to be very careful where he goes. Picks his spot down the straight, 1 lap to go. Kenny Carter, number 13. He's the British League Riders champion. He's the Golden Helmet Match Race champion. He's also number 1 for England. Still in the World Championship. And still in with a chance of this YTV trophy as he takes the checkered flag now. Number 13, Kenny Carter, the winner. In second place, Wayne Brown. And in third spot, David Barge. The riders for Heat 15, from left to right, will be Phil White, Sheffield, and Doug Wyer from Halifax. Bruce Penhall with his hands on his hip there. And on the extreme right, on the inside, Larry Ross. And Penhall and Wyer were the joint leaders at the interval. That was after 12 heats with 8 points each. They've since been passed by Sean Moran, Kenny Carter and Phil Crump, who've all got 9 points, but they've all had an extra ride. So Penhall and Wyer are the two that we're looking at, and Larry Ross with 6 points, he's in with a chance too, and tried to sneak a start there on the inside. And as he backed off, it's the two in the middle, Penhall and Wyer, Dougie Wyer, right out there against the fence, and it was Bruce Penhall who took up the lead. Dougie Wyer certainly looking as if he feels he's still got something to prove to these Sheffield fans. Backing away in second place with Larry Ross. Larry Ross, in fact, has dropped to second place, Wyer in third. But it's Bruce Penhall who's out in front. Only 1 defeat so far, and 3 points here would certainly take him into contention to retain the trophy that he won at Hull Boulevard Stadium last season. Number 3, Bruce Penhall. In second place, Larry Ross. Number 6. In third, Doug Wyer, who's really given us some fighting speedway tonight. 10 years older than Bruce Penhall, and yet still capable of putting on a really good show, particularly at Sheffield. But this is where he looks as though he's going to slip out of the reckoning. Being challenged from Phil White for third place now, but Bruce Penhall, coming up for his third win in 4 rides, comes round now to take the checkered flag. In second place is Larry Ross, number 16, and Doug Wyer gets the third spot, number 10. But the winner, Bruce Penhall. Heat 16, and your lineup from the outside: Kelly Moran, Chris Morton, Reg Wilson and Eric Gunderson. Reg Wilson sneaked back into contention here. Reg Wilson in the white helmet there, he's got 6 points, and a win here would put him up with some of the riders who are still in with a chance if Bruce Penhall can be caught. At the moment, Bruce Penhall is the out-and-out leader with 11 points. Reg Wilson at 34, coming back to form in the last few weeks. He had a paid maximum here for the Sheffield Tigers last week, and he hasn't had one of those for a long time. And a win here tonight would make things very interesting indeed. Reg Wilson in the white helmet, number 4. A very good start indeed there for Reg. He's out now in the lead. Going down the back straight, challenged on the outside by Eric Gunderson. at a very tight pitch bend here as the riders Kelly Moran and Chris Morton come through. And Reg Wilson's really got his hands full here if he's going to hang on to the lead in this one, being challenged on the inside by Chris Morton. In third place at the moment, Eric Gunderson. Chris Morton now making a challenge on the outside. As they come up to complete 2 laps. All right to Chris Morton, and we see it all new so often, and for England. But Reg Wilson, the old fox, is hanging on there. Chris Morton still in second place. And Reg Wilson now with just over a lap to go. Can he hang on, and can he hold off the challenge of Chris Morton? Chris Morton there goes past him almost on that line as they start the last lap. Chris Morton now coming around the outside, gets that bit of drive, gets up into first place. And Reg Wilson's battle to hang on to the lead. He's lost it now, going into the last turn. Chris Morton comes down and wins. In second place was Reg Wilson, and I couldn't split the third and fourth there as they crossed the line together. Certainly the most exciting and most competitive race that we've seen tonight. And let's just have a look how Chris Morton made that challenge successfully on the last lap after Reg Wilson had done so well. Leading for 3 laps, Chris Morton came up right alongside Wilson as they started the 4th lap. Down the back straight there's Morton on the left of your picture. Wilson knows that the problem's there, but he can't do anything about it. Morton's got that extra bit of drive, goes round the pitch turn, and Morton comes round. Wilson now beaten back in second place, just has one more go, but Morton has done the job, and he's the one who takes the checkered flag. A very exciting finish to heat 16. So after 4 rides apiece, the situation now is that Bruce Penhall is the out-and-out leader with 11 points, and then chasing him very hard are 4 riders on 9 points: Sean Moran, Kenny Carter, Doug Wyer and Phil Crump. On to heat 17, and your riders from left to right in this one: Doug Wyer from Halifax, Eric Gunderson from Cradley, Steve Baker from Halifax, and Rob Foy from Sheffield. And it's Doug Wyer there in the fancy leathers on the outside with 9 points, and he's really put up a terrific show tonight back at his old track. Doug Wyer looking for points here to try to catch Bruce Penhall, who at the moment has a 2-point lead as they all go into their final ride. But Doug Wyer can certainly do his case a bit of good if he gets the win here. From the outside, he tangles up there in the first 30 yards with Eric Gunderson, the 2 bikes locked, and the referee Jack Whittaker has stopped the race. So this is how it happened then as they started heat 17. The 2 riders to watch on the left of your picture, Doug Wyer and Eric Gunderson, tangling there in the first 30 yards, their bikes locking together, and referee Jack Whittaker ruled that an unsatisfactory start, and he's got all 4 riders back in the rerun. So there's Doug Wyer then, number 10, back at the pits gate, working furiously to get his bike sorted out in time for the rerun, and hoping that referee Jack Whittaker will be lenient with the time, because there's only a certain amount of time allowed for riders when they're coming up to a race, and they occasionally get the 2-minute buzzer, which has ruled many a good rider out of a race before now when he's not been able to beat the clock. And Doug Wyer's bike being wheeled into the pits. There goes the 2-minute buzzer. It's now a question of whether he's got another bike that he can, or has been warmed up in the pits, or whether he can borrow one from a teammate, because he certainly needs to be in this race if he's going to catch up with Bruce Penhall. Well, just to show the sportsmanship that exists among speedway riders, Doug Wyer there in a bit of a quandary as he had the 2-minute buzzer and his own bike damaged at the start of heat 17. He's now been able to borrow a bike from Bruce Penhall, who's the favourite to win a meeting that Doug Wyer could come back and win himself. So there's Doug Wyer as we restart heat 17. The start marshal not satisfied that the 2 riders on the inside, Rob Foy and Steve Baker, are far enough apart in gates 1 and 2. When he's happy, then we can get down to the business of racing. Doug Wyer, of course, has only had a few seconds just to get the feel of Bruce Penhall's bike, and certainly a very sporting gesture on the American's part. To heat 17. Doug Wire on the outside. Doesn't make a particularly good start this time, and it's Eric Gunderson who goes through. Incidentally, he's Bruce Penhall's teammate at Cradley. Dougie Wire back in third place at the moment. Shut off a little bit there, I thought, coming into the pit then. Probably he's going to be careful what he does with Bruce Penhall's bike. But it's Eric Gunderson who's got the lead. Dougie Wire now up into second place. In third spot at the moment, Steve Baker. And Dougie Wire's certainly not going to let this meeting slip away from him. He's determined to battle for points. Eric Gunderson, although he's out in front, has not had an impressive evening. Only 3 points so far. Doug Wire in second place. As they come round now with just over a lap to go, they'll take the black and yellow flag this time. Wire number 10 challenging on the inside of Eric Gunderson, number 15, down the back straight for the last time. And I really think it looks like Gunderson's race. Wire comes round the pitch bend, but he's not going to pick up that extra point. The winner, Eric Gunderson in white. In second place, Doug Wire. And in third place was Steve Baker. Heat 18, and things getting fairly exciting here at Ullerton. As the darkness rolls in. From the left, we've got Larry Ross from Bellevue with 8 points. And then in the white helmet from Sheffield, Sean Moran, he's got 9. Then Wayne Brown, also from Sheffield, and Sean's elder brother, Kelly Moran, on the extreme right of your picture. He's only got 6 points so far. Sean Moran is one of the riders here, hoping that Bruce Penhall will make a mistake in Heat 19 when a first or second place gives the American the title again. From the outside then it was Larry Ross who dives into the lead on that first turn, followed by Wayne Brown. And where's Sean? He's in back in fourth place. Another very disappointing start for him. Larry Ross had a very poor start to this meeting, last in his first ride, and he's come battling back with 8 points. He's been challenged down the back straight by young Wayne Brown, who's given a very good account of himself in his first Yorkshire television meeting. Going wide now, Wayne Brown. Larry Ross, 28-year-old New Zealander from Bellevue. Larry Ross still in the 1982 World Championship and chasing a place in the final in Los Angeles next month. 1 lap to go now, and it's still Larry Ross. Second place, it's number 2, Wayne Brown. And Sean Moran really hasn't made any impression at all on this race. A big disappointment for the Ullerton customers. Kelly Moran, his elder brother, in third place. And the 2 Moran brothers taking the back seat as Larry Ross wins. Wayne Brown second. And in third place, Kelly Moran. Well, Heat 19, and this is the race when Bruce Penhall can sew up the Yorkshire Television Trophy meeting for the second successive year. Bruce Penhall is there on the right of your picture. He needs a first or a second place in this Heat 19 to be the champion. And as I said much earlier tonight, hoping to repair his image a little bit after upsetting the British fans at White City in the overseas final. Well, Bruce Penhall certainly riding like a true pro tonight, but is Kenny Carter going to manage to get the better of him? Penhall there on the inside, looking at his back wheel as he goes away, and he's back in second place. And in fact, it's Kenny Carter who's taken the lead very comfortably. Now Penhall needs a second place. He's got to sit there in second place if he's going to win this title. He's lost his helmet colour, that's why we've got 2 men in white helmets out in front, but it's definitely Kenny Carter in the lead, and it's the Morton brothers back in third and fourth place. One of them has got to get past Penhall if Kenny Carter's going to have a chance of winning the trophy outright. And now Penhall's coming back himself. Penhall number 3, Carter number 13, both in white helmets. Kenny Carter really must be sick about that fall he took earlier on in the meeting, because this would have given him a maximum. That's assuming that he goes on to win this race. Bruce Penhall quite content to sit there in second place, just as he was at Wembley last year in the World Final behind Carter. Kenny Carter is coming round to take the checkered flag, but this second place will give Bruce Penhall 13 points overall, and that's enough. Bruce Penhall wins the Yorkshire Television Trophy. Number 3, Bruce Penhall, wins the trophy for the second successive year. Last year at Hull, this year at Sheffield. Gets a handshake from his great rival Kenny Carter. And now we'll see if the Sheffield public warm to the American who's really done so much for Speedway in this country since he came here 5 years ago. Rides for Cradley Heath. Certainly missed the magic until that little bit of trouble at White City the other week. But it's Bruce Penhall, winner of the Yorkshire Television Trophy for the second successive year, and certainly a very deserved winner on the night. There's the final result then from the 1982 Yorkshire Television Trophy. The winner with 13 points from America, Bruce Penhall, for the second successive year. In second place, Kenny Carter from Halifax in England. And in third place, after a run-off with two other riders, Doug Wyer from Halifax and England with 11. And here making the presentations is Miss Yorkshire Television herself, Miss Louise Gray, a 19-year-old model from Chesterfield. Presenting the third prize to Doug Wyer. Kenny Carter from Halifax, so unlucky to take that tumble, otherwise perhaps could have been a 15-point maximum. So a kiss for hard luck for Kenny. And the winner for the second successive year, Bruce Penhall from Cradley and America. The world champion himself, a very worthy winner of the Yorkshire Television Trophy once again. Well, we hope you've enjoyed your Speedway from Ollerton. Thanks very much and good night from all of us.
Good evening, welcome to Vauxhall Stadium on what has become one of the most attractive nights on the Ipswich Speedway calendar. The Daily Mirror Westlake 16-lap